Yeah, that's funny. I'm just like, welcome to the, yeah, guys, here we go again. Welcome to the Fellerpine Show, episode 4. Back out here again, out on a daily endeavor as we continue to do, and we continue to work our way to 365 days in a row out in nature, just spending a little bit of time out here every single day. So for me, it's just like something I enjoy, and I'll continue to get out here. At least to keep the streak going for the time being. I don't really have a goal in mind per se. 365 is not the goal, but 365 is definitely an accomplishment in the sense of a full cycle. So anyways, this is the weekly live stream that I do over on YouTube, the Fellerpine Show. So thank you to all who are supporting this and checking this out. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate all the feedback that's been coming to me, and people telling me that they've been checking out the episodes. So really appreciate you guys. I'm currently getting blasted by a bit of smoke, but that's what we does out here, isn't it? So today, guys, I'm going to make some oatmeal, and we're going to forage some tea, which I actually already foraged. Today we're going to be having some birch bark tea out here, and with Birch Bark, it's there's a lot of benefits to it, so it's definitely a good one. I got to get the water back on the boil for the oatmeal and for the tea now as well, guys. So I already had this boiled, but I just took it off for a bit there because I was like, this water's been boiling forever. So let's get it back on the boil and then do a little bit more water for the oatmeal. I'm gonna steep the tea right in the pot there. So today, guys, I was like, the last few episodes, I was like, what was I even talking about in those episodes? And it's hard for me to, I gotta stand back here for a second out of the smoke. And it's hard for me to even get a grasp of where I'm going within the tangents that I go on if I, don't go back and rewatch the content, which I haven't fully been doing with these episodes. So today I decided, I was like, you know what? I'm writing down some jot notes of things that I do want to go over. And it's funny because even in the previous ones, I was mentioning how I don't have a sheet of paper. But today, I won't lie to you guys, I got a sheet of paper. But it's literally a list of 10 items. It's not like a paragraph to read out per se. It's just something to keep me on topic and not just keep repeating myself like I've done in, say, previous ones. But so yeah, we're gonna get like I said, I think that water's boiled, so we might do the birch tea here now right away to get that over with, or not over with, but to get that process ongoing. And I also don't have much dry wood left because I didn't bring very much today, but it's all minor stuff, guys. It's just the more wet wood I continue to put on there, the more smoke I'm gonna get in my face. Again, minor stuff. So one thing I do want to mention, guys, is on my way in here today, I was walking in, and it's just as well I was walking in making a sound like this. Louder than that, like, just say that times 4. Just walking in, like, I always got stuff jingling off the outside of my bag there. And I was walking in, I was almost to exactly where I am now, and I heard, branches cracking and sticks being thrown and all this, and I was like, I stopped for a second, and I just like, I don't know, this is just what came out of my mouth. I was like, is that a buddy or is that a moose? so obviously I didn't get an answer. So, you just got to make sure you don't want some hunter just like stalking you, like kind of, you got to call out if, you might think it's like another hunter or whatever in the woods. So anyways, I didn't get an answer back, and for some reason, I walked towards the sounds that I was hearing, and I could not, for the life of me, find this animal. So he must have stormed on off. I just didn't, I didn't hear the, the distant running, I guess. But, yeah, I thought that was, is this a buddy or is this a moose? I don't know. It was just impulse. I just had to say what I said. I actually had my reflective jacket on today, too, when I did come across this. So, I don't know, man. Anyways, there was moose poop and fresh tracks there everywhere where I was hearing the sound. So it was a moose, and it wasn't a very big moose because the tracks were really tiny, unless if there was multiple moose, but it didn't sound like multiple moose, or the tracks didn't make it seem like there was multiple moose around either. So yeah, so that's my day trip, boys, and that's probably the 1, 2, 3, 4, probably the 4th or 5th time that's happened, you know, after, you know, in the last however many days of showing up out here in a row. So if I was, you know, a little more stealthy and whatever, I could definitely come up on these animals a little easier if I really wanted to. But it comes, like, this is actually the sound that you'll be hearing the most while I'm going out in the woods. Is like, I got the handle, and this here is like hitting off the side of my bag off something else. So I just be making a racket, boys. It is what it is. It is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. But yeah, we makes the best of it, boys. And I'm not, you know, I'm not trying to walk up on moose. I'm not out here hunting them or anything. I'm just, but in another sense, it'd be nice to get some captures of some, because I have never taken a picture of a moose out here. So, but another thing, one more point on the moose. I did set up in this specific area today because I was hoping that the moose would come out to this, because that's the direction he ran in. I was hoping that he would come out there for a sip of water. But again, here I am making a racket, so I don't think he's coming anywhere near me. But yeah, bye. That's it, boys. That's it. So that's the story of today on the moose in the woods with old Fellerpine out here, boys. Like, you know, I'm making friends out here. And then when I was actually, one more thought on that, I went, like, followed the tracks as far as I could before I realized, okay, he's gone. He's long gone. And I was on the way down there, and I heard something. I was like, oh, there he is. But meanwhile, it was just a squirrel. So, you know, just making friends with animals out here today, boys. Just, you know, connecting back in different ways. Hey. Well, boys, so let's get that tea on the go since the water's boiled and my fire's, you know, gone out once again. We'll get the tea going. I got to get the other water boiled for my oatmeal, so we'll get a few more sticks in there, and we will do the tea, boys, and I'll talk about some of the benefits of birch bark tea again here. So, you know, it's one that I actually really enjoy having out here. It's one that one of the first ones that I actually tried when I started really foraging a bunch more. Now, the cool thing about birch too, and I'll get into it a little bit more, is chaga grows on birch here as well, but I never find chaga in my area, so it's unfortunate. But, you know, hopefully one day I stumbles across some chaga here, or, you know, some people pronounce it as chaga, but I've always just said chaga. I don't know. Hopefully I stumbles across it one day out in this area, but I've checked so many, like, birch orchards around here, and just every birch tree I see, I just never see it. So that's it. We will, you know, just keep on looking. That's all we can do, isn't it? So the tea of the day, boys, is some birch, and I got some notes on it. I always bring my handy dandy little notepad that I've collected some knowledge in over the years about you know, about different plants over the years. I should say it's literally been this year. This is the year where I really got into not only foraging, but trying them, and stop, like, hold myself back from being afraid of trying different stuff. Like, once you get knowledge of, okay, this is actually this item, you look up stuff, you find your information. As I always say, guys, do your own research before you consume any wild foods. And lo and behold, we open to the birch bark right away, boys. So let's get the birch bark out, show you guys what we got. So I always cut out a little tiny strip on the inside of the birch, and this is what we got here today. So this is a strip of birch. I just cut out like a little square, little rectangle, whatever you want to call that. And so birch is said to be good for aches and pains, inflammation. It has antiseptic properties. It's good for your kidneys, your skin clarity. It helps purify and remove toxins. It's a good antioxidant and it has antioxidant and anti-cancer properties. And edible parts include the catkins, the leaves, small twigs, and bark. And once again, chaga grows on birch, which is said to have the most antioxidants out of anything in the world. So again, this is the inner bark. The outer bark is actually, you know what? I gotta say, Today, the outer bark that I grabbed actually looked really clean, but a lot of the time, the outer bark does not look as clean. Like, I would put that in my tea 100%. But sometimes, when you get the outer bark, it's pretty dirty and whatnot. So you want to make sure that it's not full of, you know, bacteria or whatever. But, you know, you steep it in your tea or you boil it in your tea. It should take away most of that. But again, do your own research before you consume any wild foods. And don't just, you know, take my word for it. So I'm just going to rip this up into little strips. Now, I actually am going to take that outer piece of birch bark in there as well. We're just going to make this a real potent birchy tea today. So I'm going to take all that. Now, some people say you can cut it the other way, say this way, so it's harder to tear this way. You obviously, you can't just rip it like with this way. You can just rip. But if you tear it the other way, apparently it doesn't curl up in the pot so much. So like, I'm going to put this in here now, and these are all going to turn into little tiny curls in the water, which is okay. It's all good. It doesn't really affect the taste by any means. So yeah, they'll boil away now. I'll let that steep for about 10 minutes or so. I'm actually going to pull that off of the stove and let it, you know, just let it steep now in a moment. I'll just leave it on there. With some teas you cannot leave on the boiling, like in the boiling water like that. So for instance, like Labrador tea, which I haven't shown on these live streams yet. We'll do that someday as well. So guys, we will enjoy a cup of that now here momentarily. I actually believe that the other water for my oatmeal is boiled, so everything's just happening fast here today, guys, which is actually dandy because sometimes I be's out here and I be's waiting forever for my water to boil, and it's usually on days where it's extra windy and the heat is being blown in a specific direction and not going straight up to my pots. But on days like this, where it's literally, guys, I never even talked about this yet. Look at this today. But on days where it's very peaceful and completely calm, like this, it's no trouble to get your water boiled. There's no wind affecting where the heat is going. And since I've gotten here, that fog has started to roll in. That was not there when I first got to this place today. But you know what? On another note, guys, this is a very beautiful, peaceful day. Like, this is, you know, these are, I do love those. I always talk about how I love rainy days out here, wintry day, or like stormy days too, because they feel uplifting in a way. But this just feels like, I don't know, these are like reconnecting days. These are like gratitude days too, I guess, right? So beautiful. Give yourself a moment in moments like these, guys. Truly. And it goes along with everything that I'm doing in sending good vibrations out to people from showing up in nature. I'm getting uplifted by being out in nature, and then I send that nature or that energy back to others through the, you know, through the digital forces and whatever else. So it's part of it all, guys. It's all connected. We're all connected as one, are we not? Or something, some conscious whatever. But I do like to just spread good energy, guys. Truly. There's one more piece of birch. Oh yeah, I forgot to take that off. So that's what we're gonna do here now. Take that off, let that simmer or sorry, sit for, you know, probably about, well, honestly, until I remembers to drink it. How about that? I was gonna say, usually people will let it steep or simmer for about, let it steep for about 10 minutes or so with birch bark. So, what else do I got for you, guys? We're gonna make some oatmeal, I guess, since that water's boiling away there as well. I'm gonna put another stick in here to make sure that we don't, what's it called? We don't let the fire go out, because the fire is the vibe, spice. The fire is the main vibration of it all. Hey. Yes, Spy. I've actually noticed that when I'm doing the live streams, if I don't have the fire going, people will tune in and they'll quickly tune out. But when the fire is going, a lot of people tune in and are like, oh, the fire is so peaceful. So I do find that interesting, but it makes sense. I mean, I'd watch a fire too. It's just like watching the Fireplace channel with a little bit of knowledge to gain. That's what we're trying to do here. So guys, let's get on to the oatmeal, I guess, as well here now. Well, we got the tea waiting there. So guys, the oatmeal. If I can find it here in my bag. Here we go. Today, guys, we brought some oatmeal from the Oat Company. Guys, and the Oat Company is a local company here in Newfoundland. You know, with some real healthy, nice snacks to fuel your daily endeavors and adventures out here. So I highly recommend that you guys give this a go. I've become an ambassador for the Oat Company over the last year, and I'm not just an ambassador because, you know, it was offered out or anything. It was just more about, it's a company that I appreciate and respect to keep my days fueled without hiding ingredients inside of ingredients, and, you know, they just have good snacks. So with this one, for instance, there's no fake sugars, there's no anything in it, like nothing bad. So we got organic gluten-free oats, raisins, almonds, pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds, flax seeds, and cinnamon. That is it. No fake sugars, no nonsense, guys. No foolishness. That's it. Like, so they also told me that they I'm pretty sure I read a post about their sourcing of their oats and whatever, and they source their oatmeal and their oats from a place that doesn't spray glyphosate, which is a very toxic chemical to humans as well, that is used in a lot of agriculture, unfortunately. So this is something that, you know, when I eat, I genuinely feel fueled. So they have oatmeal. They have 4 different flavors of oatmeal: cinnamon, peanut butter, blueberry, and snowball. And then they have the oat bars that I like as well. The peanut butter is my favorite, chocolate orange, snowball, blueberry, sea salt, and I'm definitely forgetting one. I know they had a mint one, and yeah, I'm definitely forgetting one, but these are awesome, guys. I really appreciate these. So yeah, that's what we're gonna have today, is some oatmeal from the Oat Company. Like, again, a local company here in Newfoundland. If you guys want to try this, guys, I actually also have a discount code for you guys. It's Fellerpine 15 for 15% off your first order at oatcompany.com. That is their website. You can also follow them at Oat Company on Instagram and Facebook. So they're around. So it's real good, real fuel. You know, they're actually also fully dairy-free, vegan, and gluten-free. So, you know, being plant-based, fully plant-based, it works for me as well. And like I said, keeps my days fueled. So let's get on to it, guys. Let's pour this up now. Let's stop rambling now about oatmeal. Get on to it. Hey, bye. The boys are like, listen, I had enough of you talking about that oatmeal. I wants to see it. Well, here you go, boys. This is what we got now. We're gonna pour it up here, you know. Well, boys, here we go. Some oatmeal from the Oat Company. Now, so the thing is, like I was talking about, you can see every individual ingredient in there, which is unbelievable. Another beautiful aspect of it, right? Another beautiful aspect of that, because for me, when I'm eating anything, I like to know pretty much exactly what I'm eating. And I don't just like always gravitate towards these things that are just a list, like 20 things long, full of, you know, nonsense, guys. Chemicals, preservatives, all that stuff. So the Oat Company doesn't do that to you. And that's what I appreciate about them. So again, once again, Fellerpine 15 for 15. Oh, I took for 15% off your first order at oatcompany.com. So guys, that is, I took a risk then by grabbing that. Hey, don't do the stuff I does on these streams all the time. I'm just like talking and rambling to the point where I always forget what I'm doing. It's not a good thing. But pour up some water in there. Pour up some water. I think that's more than enough water. Sometimes I could put a bit too much water in this, but it still turns out okay. I would say if you're someone who, you know, likes you got a sweet tooth or whatever too, you might not find some of their oatmeals or whatever as sweet, but I must say the best alternative is to get a natural sugar alternative to put in there, whether you're going with some maple syrup, some date sugar, or like something, you know, just some natural sugars to sweeten it up for you, or some pure, what did I say? I said pure maple syrup or something like that. Yeah, so, you know, I personally like agave syrup. It's an option as well. But yeah, this here is actually a really good one too, the cinnamon toast oatmeal. It's a delicious, delicious blend. So I'm gonna let that sit for a bit there, wait for the water to absorb into the oats there properly. And then I'm gonna, well, do what I does and absolutely devour that, hey. But I do have to make sure I gets my fire back on the go once again, boys. So I am, you know, done with cooking on there, so I can take all that off for now. It looks like I pretty much let all this completely go out. But I don't know, what else do I got to talk about with you guys today? I don't feel like I covered anything that I wrote down yet. Self-validation. How about that one? So I was thinking about this today, and I feel like a lot of people can seek validation outside of themselves a lot, and or seek that like inner love outside of, you know, themselves. It's truly all within you. And I don't mean that you can't, you know, get love from people, or, you know, love from your pets or whatever, like, you know what I mean? Like, people say like your dog is your companion, and I get that, like, you know, that kind of stuff. And, you know, my cat is, I don't know what I'd do without my cat, or all this stuff. And it's like, I'm not even just like going at pets in general with that thought. I just mean like, let's learn to validate and appreciate ourselves just for exactly what we are within ourselves. I come out here every day with myself. Some people will recommend, you know, bringing a pet or whatever too, and I get it. It can enhance whatever. But to me, it's like, I really think it's good to, you know, have you. You know what I mean? Just have you be able to validate yourself for exactly who you are without any external things. It's not to say some things, like I said, can't bring you extra joy and happiness, but I think it's very important to get that joy and that happiness within yourself first before you, you know, seek it. And that goes to the same, like the self-validation. You got to be able to, you know, for myself, like putting out content and everything, I had to learn to validate myself. Because I wasn't getting, you know, you're not going to get feedback right away or anything, or, you know, even sometimes still I can post a video and it might not get any feedback, but it's okay, because as long as I'm okay with what I put out there, that's all that matters. You know, I might expect some videos to do better than what they do or whatever, or some creations that I put out there to do better than what they do. But when it doesn't, it's like you can't let that stuff get to you. You got to be able to make sure that no matter what, you have yourself validated, and you're not relying on an outer source to do so, or, you know, outer source to find that like inner love, because the inner love is within you. It's called inner love for a reason, or self-love for a reason, right? Like I said, there's always people and around you and everything that can give you more love and send more love to you. But again, I've talked about this probably on the last video to an extent too, but, you know, you got to learn to love yourself before you can love anyone else, or to be able to spread that best version of yourself out to others, I would say. At least from my personal experience, like, you know, finding myself has been the best thing. And I'm not, okay, that's another thing. It's not that I didn't have myself. It was just, I had to dig deep. I had to do some work, right? I had to work on myself, and it's an everyday battle to work on yourself. You got to continue to push yourself, learn about everything, and, you know, keep on going. So never give up on yourself, boys. That's the main key. For instance, today also I put out, I mean, not to reference just today as the day that, you know, you're watching this video or whatever, but I put out a video, and it was inspired by, I think his name is Kaolite McLean or whatever, and it was pretty much similar to the wording he used in his video. And, you know, it's basically if somebody offered you $1 million or a couple million, or, you know, if somebody offered you financial freedom right now, you'd take it, right? But what about if taking that financial freedom meant that you weren't going to wake up tomorrow? So where's the true value of life? Life outweighs any amount of financial freedom, right? Life in itself. So remember that too, guys. No matter what, have that self-love and, you know, live the best life that you can outside of, you know, any financial struggles that you might be going through as well. So it's important to do that stuff, guys. I really think. So guys, I kind of let this go out. I'm not gonna lie to you. My nose is also running from the smoke coming at me. So we're at that point. But I gotta eat my oatmeal because I don't like to eat it cold. You know what? It's probably not that bad cold, but I do enjoy like a nice warm bowl of oatmeal, especially on days like this out here. It's not freezing out, but it's not warm per se. That is so good. Also, I don't know if it's been happening while we've been going, but I can no longer see the lane in the distance there since the fog rolled in. So that's pretty wild. I wonder if that's going to get going again without me putting a spark to it in some sense. That's been my fatal flaw. Or that, you know what? I love these fireboxes. Oh, there's the flame. But it's really hard to keep them fueled or the coals hot if you don't block off the bottom from stuff falling down, because all the ash will fall down below through the big holes. So the hot coals that you try to keep on the bottom to keep putting your sticks in there or whatever, sometimes at a point it can all fall through and you pretty much got to start your fire over again. So, but yeah, there it is. There's a little fire anyways. Another thing too is I was talking about this with my brother recently. And it'd be nice if I came out here with sticks that would just fit directly into there. You know, most people obviously cut their logs at a certain length to put in the fire. But for this, I honestly need like, I need to come out prepared with like little blocks of wood to be dropping right in there. It would make this so much easier than doing little tiny splits. Because when I do tiny splits, I can crack them, sure, and put them in there, but they burn up way faster. But if I was able to, you know, saw that off every time and like put it in little blocks, that would make it a whole lot easier. Whole lot easier. It's too bad the moose never... I just spit out some oatmeal. It's too bad the moose never came back though. I had my camera out and just like ready to you know, capture him. But he wanted nothing to do with me. I guess when I asked him if he was my buddy, he didn't know what to think. He's like, what's this guy at? Is he gonna shoot me? It's like, buddy, I just want to take a picture of you, bye. I actually walked straight at him. You know what? You talk about it, like these big animals, to me, like I get a little jump scare at first, but then I remind myself that, you know, most of these animals, at least out here where I'm to, are more afraid of me than what I am of them. So, you know, you gotta quickly remind yourself when you get to like a little jump scare, like hearing something like that in the woods. Obviously, it's a little different in different areas of Canada and the world with, you know, grizzly bears and whatever else, cougars and different stuff. But here, where I'm to, in Trinity Bay, Newfoundland, you know, there has been black bears spotted, you know, in the area over the last few years, but not specifically in, like, say, this area. And black bears, again, are kind of similar in the sense they're more afraid of us than we are of them for the most part. So, you know, for me, people always ask me if I bring bear spray and stuff, and I'm like, I don't, because I have a lot of gratitude for where I'm living in that sense too, for not having to worry about animals that are just going to come at me for the most part. And it's not to say a moose wouldn't, or, you know, a coyote or whatever, but it's pretty unlikely. And, you know, I always, you know, mentally process all this stuff, be mentally prepared for it all, but don't let the stress stop you from, you know, enjoying a bit of nature, I guess, too. And if you're living up away, you know, bring your bear spray and be prepared in different ways and all that stuff. But for me, it's like you still gotta find time to appreciate, you know, moments like this. This is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Not only can you see every ingredient, but you can taste every ingredient. It's very cool the way that they do these the oatmeals. You know, like you get a lot of them buys, and they're just full of like processed whatever, processed fake sugars and stuff that's not, you know, beneficial to you in a lot of ways. So it's nice to know that, especially here in Newfoundland, on this small island, that there are still a lot of, you know, there are still companies and people that care about what they're consuming too. Because it's very important to be aware of what you're consuming. But, you know, even if you can't consume necessarily the healthiest stuff, the most important thing is to not stress about it, because a lot of it is mindset. If you're, you know, eating all this shitty stuff and you're also thinking it's shitty, then you know the difference, right? So, you know, try your best to eat healthier. But, you know, the most importantly for me, for instance, with me, like I try to eat very clean, but I do have days where I eat, you know, not so clean. But on those days, I remind myself that it's a one-off. You know, I'm still sticking to what I'm trying to do, and I keep my mind's I keep my mind strong about it. So that's the main thing too, is keep your mind strong about the food that you're consuming. You know, trusting in it and hoping that, you know, again, it is very important to avoid processed foods where you can. But stress is also a major killer. So I'm not saying I got all the answers, guys, because I don't. I just truly think, like, all I'm doing, every word that I say is just from my limited little pea brain perception over here, you know, my little perception. And I think I've become very humble to the perceptions of others, and you know, other people's understandings of things. Sometimes you gotta, I talked about this the other day. Sometimes you gotta brush the ego aside, right? Brush the ego aside and accept that you're not always right. You know what I mean? You're not always going to be right, no matter what. So you got to be humble within your approach and be open-minded to conversing about stuff. Because, again, we only know our limited perception, and, you know, it's just important to have some compassion, some love and light out there. Well, boys. Devoured. Devoured. So let's what's next? What's next? I don't know how long I've been on here already. 34 minutes, is that where we're at? I appreciate the one like, and if there's one viewer there, I think I see that. Appreciate you for being here. Thank you so much. Much love. Thanks for listening. And yeah, we're vibing. It doesn't matter about the numbers for me with the, you know, the long-term content that I want to leave here. I just want it to be left there, because I think there's, you know, knowledge to be left in the whole approach rather than little tidbit small videos. I think with the long-term content, it just, you know, it leaves more of an opportunity to really show truly me, especially by doing the live streams. You know, there's no editing going into this. This is just what it is. This is what's getting left here. And yeah, but on one more note with that, I was thinking about this today. I'm not sure if I mentioned this already, but I do like doing these as live streams. But I thought to myself, if I didn't do these as live streams, I could be all the way out there somewhere filming this video rather than going to the same spots that I do with some of the other TikTok live streams or whatever. So it would make it more unique in that sense, and I could travel farther and do different stuff. But what is the purpose behind why I wanted to do them as live streams, and I talked about that before too, is well, again, no editing, so I already spend enough time on technology, editing and whatnot already. And you know, it's just there. I don't have to bring my extra camera to do so, like to film a, you know, hour-long video or whatever. And it's just it's a lot easier to do it this way. And you know what? Sometimes you just got to take the easier approach, regardless if the content is not up to par. Especially if you want to be a content creator too. Don't just think that you got to perfect every video, because you don't. I see people that put little to no effort into videos, and they're leaps and beyond where I am at for the, you know, the editing that I do and different stuff. And I mean, obviously it all comes with, you know, unique content and different stuff. And you know, I'm not being like, oh, I'm mad at these guys, or I'm not even comparing myself to these people. I'm just like saying, basically, if you want to, you know, put out content, use your words, just start somewhere and just do it. Because really, you're just, if you're just, you know, sitting around thinking you want to do it all the time, you're not going to get very far, right? You got to kind of just be like, hey, let's just do this. Let's put out this video. Maybe it's not edited. Maybe it's not, you know, up to par of where you want it to be. But at least, you know, find some, like I was talking about before, find that little bit of validation within yourself to be like, you know what? I like this video. It might not be exactly where I want it to be. And you know what? You'll probably never get the video to where exactly where you want it to be. But it's just like, let's just approve of this video within myself, or whatever photo that you want to post, and be like, hey, as long as I'm not hurting anyone else within what I'm doing or what I'm sharing, then let's do it. Let's post it. Let's share it. You know what I mean? So I guess that's what this is about today, guys. Is a little bit of self-validation. Don't ever forget to validate yourself above all, guys. Especially, like I said, if you're not intending to hurt anyone else or do anything like that, you're just intending to grow within yourself. And I think that's what content should be about too. And I mean, for me, it's like, it's about the fun, it's about the creativity, it's about embracing my message, you know, continuing to build upon the name, the Fellerpine stuff. And like I said, this is just what I'm doing out here. You know, I get people tuning into my stuff sometimes and being like, why do you just do this every day? And it's like, this is what I enjoy to do. And I am just trying to grow doing what I'm doing right now, by having these fires out in nature, by having little moments, and by connecting back with the community. This is what I'm doing right now. Will this be what I do for the rest of my life within the Fellerpine vision? Probably not. You know what I mean? Like, it could be. It could very well be. But to me, I really want to embrace different creative aspirations within myself, especially, I keep talking about this, and you know, I even brought my journal today, and perhaps I'll do a little reading out of my journal before I go there, and then get more into that in the next one. But you know, I've been writing a little bit more lately, and I just want to continue to write. I write music, essentially. I write all my journal entries into songs. So it's just, it's definitely one of the major aspirations within myself that I want to do eventually, do more of eventually. So again, you know, it comes with validating myself first and not worrying about, you know, any feedback. I know I'm not perfect with it yet, or by some people's mind or whatever, even good in any sense. But for me, I just enjoy it. I love doing it. I do like singing to an extent too. It's just to me it's one of the music is one of the most universal languages. So to talk about that, it's you know, it is one of the most for me, like I said, it's definitely one of the biggest goals that I have is really putting out music and whatnot. And now I do have one album out there on YouTube and on Bandcamp. It's called 1 through 9, like 1, the word through, 9, and it's Fellerpine. And the album is just beats from the earliest creation of my my music and whatnot. So, you know, and those are the first beats that I ever made, probably in like 2019. And I just wanted to share it as an expression of me in a different way. And it goes back to finding that validation and finding myself free from doubt over the years. I was just like, you know what? I just need to post this. It's here. If I don't post it, it's just going to sit here forever. Because I made it. It was the first beats I ever made, and I wanted to share it. Now I do have more to share, and that will be coming within those older beats and stuff. And like I said, within music. But music, again, as much as I share content and nature and different stuff, it's music will be the main aspiration. So on that note, I'd say I'm going to read out one quick little journal from whichever one honestly just catches my eye right now. I don't have a plan to read a specific one, but I just want to share something within this. But actually, first, guys, just realized we've been at this the whole time. Guess who didn't pour up this tea? At least to give you guys a tasting note on what I like about birch tea. This is a very thick one today because I left it steeping there forever. And it actually has a color that I've never seen from my Birch Bark tea. So it's actually red. And maybe that is actually from the last time I used this pot, now that I'm thinking about it, because I had cranberries in this pot the last time. And I think that's why it is so red, but it looks like blood. It doesn't look that it just looks confusing considering what I usually like about birch tea. But it's usually just more brown, but it's very red today. I don't know if I can show you guys that. You guys can see the red there. I don't like to move the camera because it's hard to get it adjusted back to where I wanted it. But yeah, so let's go in for a sip of that. Definitely the hint of cranberries in there still. I guess I didn't fully wash out the pot since I last used it, is what I'm thinking. Maybe. I don't know though. But Birch Bark is one of my favorite teas to have out here. It really is. I thoroughly enjoy it. It's it got like a nice little peppery hint to it. It's very subtle, very simple. There's nothing crazy going on. It's just like I said, it's a nice taster, and one that, you know, I highly recommend you guys give a go, especially if you're just getting into foraging and tasting teas or whatever. Again, do your own research. Don't just take my word for it. But this is a good one. This is a good one. So, guys, let's get one journal entry in. Or journal reading, I should say, in. And, you know what? Let's just read the first one. And actually, right at the beginning here, I have a quote. It says, "We are powerful when a thought is followed with action." So within the action that we take, or we can have all these thoughts. We can think all day long, but until we take action, that thought is just a thought. So take action on some creative endeavors and thoughts. So this one I remember I was actually walking around a park in St. John's. I can remember that day thoroughly because I don't know. It's just sometimes when you write something like this down, I can remember a lot of the days where I wrote a lot of my journal entries. So this one is called Trail Thoughts / Nature's Mindset. So it was just another simple walk in the park. The ideas, they can only spark, especially when you're speaking directly from the heart. As you're trying to make your mark, the crows, they were following from the start, which they were literally following me along in the trail. It was very strange. But what they symbolized was more than art. They're thinking fast, they're showing their smarts, but their coordination, it sets them apart. And by that, I mean, like, they're different from a lot of birds in the way that they do things. I walked so far that they decided to depart. They let me be me as I continued to embark. It's just another story of a day I'll never forget. Funny enough, I just said that. I never forgot this day. A simple day with nature I had, but yet. I know I needed to feel the trees and have no regrets. As we grow more every day, it's a lesson learned, so that's all that's left. A memory of a day in the life and a nature reset. There's nothing I'll fear and nothing to repent. A thought provoked and my mind was set. I'll reach my goals. I'm willing to bet. The powers that be, no longer a threat. At least not to me and the mindset. It's all in the mindset. Nature's got my back, so I'm happy that we met. Like, truly happy that I found the time that I do in nature right now. As I took in the sounds, I'm getting smoke in my eyes, guys. Hold on. Funny. Maybe I'm just crying, guys, from reading this. I'm just kidding. I gotta actually go over here and finish this because I actually can't sit there right now. As I took in the sounds of the stream nearby, I felt at peace with no more reasons to cry. This is so funny. Like, I'm like speaking of it as it's like change will come, so keep your eyes open wide. The heartfelt pain will teach you, my guy. I'm still getting blasted by the smoke. So you live and you learn. So you'll live and you'll learn. Just know you'll prevail. Don't trip on the thoughts or the small details. They get you nowhere if you're negative. You'll keep chasing the trail. So if the weather's not nice, it's raining or blowing a gale. That's smoke, man. Get yourself outside, regardless, because nature never fails. Let this journey keep going as you seek out the trails. Mindset is the key to keeping you from derailing. Or mindset is the key to not derail. So, guys, I wrote that on January 19th, 2023. That was long before I started doing this every day as an everyday endeavor. And I always say this, but a lot of the stuff that I write, a lot of the messages that I preach is something I'm trying to ingrain into myself and remind myself of every single day. So it's just wild, man. Like what you can write down by, you know, or what you can manifest by writing it down on a sheet of paper to an extent too. So that is crazy, guys. That blew my mind a little bit. And it looked like I was crying the entire time, which, you know, I don't even care if some people think that I was, because I wasn't. It was, well, actually, you know what? I was crying because the smoke made me cry. But, hey, bye. It's not like it was a sad story by any means. Oh, man. So anyways, guys, I'm going to enjoy the rest of my birch tea here. Really appreciate you guys for listening. as always, guys. So please like, comment, and subscribe. I am Fellerpine across all platforms, specifically mostly here on YouTube, TikTok, and on Instagram at Fellerpine. I also have another account on Instagram at the Fellerpine. You can follow me there. If you look like you're not a bot account, I'll follow you back on that account. My other at Fellerpine on Instagram is my main account. And I'm also on Facebook, Twitter, X, and Threads. So I try to use a few social platforms, but, you know, there's a couple that I would consider my main right now. So guys, have a beautiful day out there, truly. This is another edition of the Fellerpine Show, episode 4. We'll keep these going. Like I said, they could end up not being lives over time, or maybe we'll do a balance of a couple of each. But we're going to keep it rolling in some way or another. Weekly streams to come, guys. So thank you for listening. Cheers to you all. Like, hope you're enjoying a nice cuppa of whatever. I got some delicious Birch Bark tea, and please, once again, like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Cheers, guys. Cheers.